Little Nightmares is on sale. My Hero 1's Justice 2. That's a My Hero Academia game. What else you got for me? Bunch of DLC stuff. Sword Online Fatal Bullet DLC. What is this? Angelic World, Cell World versus Sword Art Online Deluxe Edition. Super Dragon Ball Heroes. Card Battler. Okay, now we're done with that. So this game is pretty interesting. I played a bit of it already. It's very early access still. There's a lot of bugs and a lot of things they have to fix still, but it's a pretty fun game. So what it is you basically are in debt to a corporation, and to pay off that debt, you break down ships and basically break them down and give them the valuable stuff to resell and smelt down and be able to reuse. So you basically tear the ship down apart piece by piece, and there's different kinds of hazards based on the difficulty of the item. I think I'll just keep going from this. Actually, no, I'm going to delete this profile. Well, the problem is you can only have one profile. Past profiles. So if I delete this, can I go back to it? Probably not, but it's fine. Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, we'll go ahead and start over again. This is the kind of game you really have to go through the tutorial to explain and understand. So, Shipbreaker application. Pave the way to the Galaxy program. Update your application status. This is the opening cinematic here.
Each day he steps into the yard. wages working hard. I pray to the stars and heaven above to return my daddy to those he loves. If there comes a time when he and death meet, bless the next cutter that takes his seat.
It's too bad tethers don't actually work like that. They kind of do, but maybe that's fully upgraded. That could be the case. Maybe if they're fully upgraded, they don't break.
Before we jump in here, Cutter, it's customary to observe a moment of silence for a departing shipbreaker. You'll soon learn this type of thing doesn't happen very often up here. Okay. Well, my name is Will. I'll be your eyes and ears when you're in the yard. Used to be a cutter myself until there were some, complications with one of my clone jobs, but never you mind about that. Let's get to work. Go ahead and open your work order, and let's get started. You ever want to pay off your debt like Sullivan did? It's all about completing your work orders.
So, basic kind of movement keys. WASD. Q and E will roll you. Control the space. Control breaks your thrust. Shift to ascend. Rather, shift to descend and space to ascend. I don't know why they have C on descend for. It's interesting. It's actually on both. I get the right break here.
Alright. These next two maneuvers are tough for most worms to wrap their heads around because most of you have never spent time in zero-G. We call them rolls. Give them a shot. Okay. Well, this here is your trusty training vessel. On it and in it are salvageable objects to cut your teeth with. Let's give her a go, shall we?
So we have here's a tractor beam gun. Left click will tether onto it. Right click doesn't do anything yet. These are the places where you throw parts at. Some parts. Other parts go down here to the barge. If you get too close to these, they'll suck you in and kill you, so you have to be careful about that. It also applies, though, with parts. If you have a really heavy part, if you at least get it within this yellow perimeter, it'll start sucking it into the actual place where to register it and give you the credit for having scrapped it. So we're going to take this antenna off. This is going to go to the barge. It shows where it goes in the middle there, where it's kind of highlighting where it says barge. So that goes down here. You can destroy things in the barge by hitting things with them. So, like, if you have a... Not sure if you can destroy things that are already in the barge, but if you have something large in the barge and you fire off something down there towards it and it hits that large object, it'll destroy whatever you just threw. I hit F to do that, by the way, to throw. It's like a force push or something like that. Certain objects, if you bang them around, will blow up or destroy themselves.
Salvage. Another billion or so of them antennas, and you will have completely wiped out your debts.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, of course. All right, Cutter. You ready to perform a little zero-G ship surgery? Let's boot up your scanner and see what we see. Now we're looking for cut points. Think of them as the chunks of glue that hold the key structural segments of the ship together. Bingo.
So we're going to cut this. The cutter has a overheat on it. If you use it too long, it'll kind of overload and do damage to you, and also do a lot of damage to the weapon itself. The UI needs a lot of work, as you can tell. Things overlap each other, and some of the text isn't in the right places. So now we just grab this. This is a heavier object, so you're not going to be able to move it quite as easily. There are upgrades to make the grapple a lot stronger. If you hit it multiple times with the push feature of this, it'll actually increase the speed. So if you want to get something faster to the destination you're shooting at faster, just grab it multiple times and hit the force.
Salvage secured.
Hit the push button.
Deposited.
That's what it's all about, Cutter. The more work orders you complete, the closer you get to hitting your certification quotas. Go ahead and see where you're at on earning your first cert. Earning certs gives you access to better upgrades and perks for your tools, gear, and equipment, as well as access to more valuable ships back in your hab. Speaking of which, let's mosey on over to your personal habitation unit right now, because that's what you do when you finish your shift. You didn't think Lynx made you sleep out here in the yard, did you? Weaver out.
Right now, your resource usage isn't happening. So, like, once we get through the tutorial, you'll start burning up oxygen when you're outside. Moving around burns up fuel. And you'll take damage, health damage, when you blow stuff up and do stuff incorrectly. You also will have a time limit for your shift.
Top of the morning to you, Cutter. As you know by now, this is your hat. I know it feels a bit flat right now, but I hear Lynx is looking into fixing it up real nice for you sometime in the near future. Anyway, says here you're gonna need an upgrade to complete your next certification rank. You're gonna like this one, Cutter. Let's check it out now, shall we? Good. Now let's get back to the yard so you can try this sucker out. Okay, before we hop back in the yard...
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. I kind of killed the dialogue for that.
Alright, Cutter, another shift, another credit. Today's goal is to complete your certification rank 2. And in order to do that, we're gonna have to light up that new split saw mode you just upgraded in the hab. Go ahead and equip it now. Nice work there, Cutter. It's time to take the training wheels off and let you loose on this thing. My advice is to knock out your work order first, and then see if you can salvage every last bit of the training vessel. We call it using the whole buffalo. Waste not, want not, right, Cutter? Go get 'em, Tiger. We were out.
So I think that should detach these now. Yeah. These go to the processors.
Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited.
Okay. So I'll take care of that.
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
This has always been annoying to use. If you go right on the edge, it usually will not cut it apart from other things, like these kind of connection bits. So it's kind of go in a little bit. Most of the do on the bottom too, I think, and the top. Actually, that might have been enough. Right click when you have it held in, when you're connected to it, will actually either pull you towards it or pull it towards you, depending on how much pull you have on it, how much force you can exert on the object. Let's go ahead and do the top part here too. Okay, there we go, now it's free. So since I can't pull this towards me because it's too heavy, you had to do that.
Object not accepted. Please revisit your training.
Oh, well, there's stuff in there. There's some other bits in there, weren't there? That were not part of that. Was it aluminum? Oh, that's aluminum. Shit. I put it to the wrong place. I should have gone to the furnace. Let's go ahead and get rid of these cut points here. That'll break the box apart. Let's make sure we get around this. These will catch on fire if you're not careful. Alright, so every section of this should be pullable now. Yeah. So this is not, yeah, this is processor, this is nanocarbon.
project processed. Credits deposited.
So that one isn't. This is nanocarbon as well. You don't even have to throw it if you get enough speed up on it as you're moving with it. You can actually just toss it by letting go of the tractor beam. That's all aluminum, okay. Now let's get the soft crates.
Valuable objects processed. Credits awarded.
So I can bring this in towards me now. To get out of the way of things.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Whoops. That was a little bit high. Now for this thing, it's still pretty heavy, but we might be able to shift it. Okay, no, we can't.
Secured. Account credit applied.
So we could cut all this stuff away and like cut these off, but it might also be possible for me to push it into the furnace with my thrusters. This isn't the optimal way to do it, but when you got something you can't move because it's too heavy, and you can't cut it apart, like it's made out of nanocarbon or something, this is another way to do it. You just have to get it near those, near the entrance, and it'll get sucked in eventually. A good way to tell if it's being sucked in is to look at your meters per second at the bottom, down near the fuel. Once that starts jumping up, you'll know that's caught in the kind of tractor beam for that thing. Should be good enough. Yeah, there it goes. I'm still upside down. There we go.
Deposit accepted.
Nice job, Cutter. Now get back to your hab to end your shift and spend them shiny new links tokens on upgrading your gear.
So the meter at the top of the screen, it shows you how much money there is still to make off of the ship. I think the green spot is when you've gotten all the most valuable parts, and the red is when you've gotten all the once you're past the point of where it's no longer very efficient to actually continue stripping down a ship. So technically you want to go to the green and then maybe down to maybe halfway to the red, and then you want to be done, because every time you go out to in a shift you have expenses you have to pay, and if you don't make more than 500k credits per shift, it starts adding on to your debt. Like right now we only did 178. So theoretically it would add on to our debt at this point. But I don't think they do that for the
Well,
tutorial.
congratulations on completing certification rank 2 there, Cutter. Now that you've proven you kind of know what you're doing out there, Lynx has a present for you. Go ahead and make your way to the equipment upgrade screen and let's see what we see.
Okay, grapple. Oh, tethers, I believe, right?
Repeat after me, Cutter. Tethers are your friends. Let's select your next ship and head out into the yard to try them out. Alright, Cutter. This here macro is stripped down, but there's still plenty there for us to sink our teeth into, such as how we're going to deal with the pressurized areas. But before we get into all that, let's try out your tethers. Your tethers are far stronger than the line on your grapple. Use them when you're trying to move objects that are much heavier than you are. Also, tethers stack, meaning the more you use, the stronger the pull you get out of them. If you put them in the right place, that is.
So this thing's going to be much too heavy for us to move. So we're going to need to push it. Unless there's a cut point to cut these in half, which I don't think there is. No, there isn't. So I don't know what the point of using the tethers on this is, because you can't grapple to the tethers. They disconnect two things together, and this doesn't come apart. So I think that's a problem with their tutorial here. What you can use them for, what they're good to use for though, is to connect pieces of hull plating together and like firing them all off at at the processor or the furnace. So them all going at once. As we use your equipment, they'll also start being damaged, and I'll have to repair them eventually. Okay. There's probably a much better way to do this, but I haven't figured it out yet. I think it's kind of enough momentum to carry down into there. Maybe not. I might have killed it by tethering to it.